All right, let's just jump straight into this explainer. Today, we are meticulously deconstructing how raw, gritty construction labor totally transforms into an absolutely epic piece of pop culture artistry. We're looking at a viral project that smashes together the heavy reality of a physical construction site with ultra-modern luxury and top-tier digital storytelling. We're going to break down exactly how this visual narrative is structured, step by step. Now, what's genuinely fascinating right off the bat is how this exact 3-second hook is literally engineered to grab your attention. By immediately pointing out that workers spent weeks on this, it establishes a sense of massive effort, right? And then it instantly pivots to a promise. Wait until you see the final design. It creates this massive information gap. You just know a wildly satisfying payoff is coming. And this little hook practically guarantees you're going to stay glued to the story to see what all that intense labor actually creates. But before we get into the actual construction, we really need to understand the medium itself. This entire masterpiece is conceptually designed for a 9:16 vertical format. So we're not talking about your traditional wide movie screen layout here. This is specifically optimized for the ultra-engaging, incredibly fast-paced world of vertical digital storytelling. Think short-form social media. This edge-to-edge mobile viewing experience means the artwork and the sweat equity behind it are quite literally resting right in the palm of your hand, filling your entire field of vision.
So the crucial takeaway is that we aren't just sitting there watching a real-time build. We're experiencing an accelerating cinematic time-lapse. Realistically, a massive project like this takes weeks, but the narrative artificially accelerates time. It's such a brilliant technique because it rapidly builds suspense and visual momentum. It basically takes a slow, meticulous, exhausting process and turns it into this rushing thrill ride towards a grand reveal, all while keeping this highly stylized movie-like aesthetic that absolutely captivates you.
All right, let's move into part 1, anatomy of the build, looking at the raw materials and labor. We start from the ground up, literally. You've got a team of skilled workers in safety gear unloading hundreds of these highly polished marble tiles. But pay close attention to the specific colors in play here. Polished white, deep black, shimmering silver, and a really vibrant orange. These aren't just random stones picked for a standard floor pattern. No, this is a highly curated palette holding the secret DNA of the final masterpiece. Which brings us to part 2, forging the masterpiece, the tools of precision. As the materials are staged, the heavy lifting gives way to absolute pinpoint precision. The narrative breaks down this chaotic construction zone into 4 essential exacting actions: measuring, cutting, aligning, and installing. It deliberately zeroes in on these workers executing every single step with flawless technique. It practically forces us to pause and appreciate the granular, ultra-detailed craftsmanship going into every single piece of marble before we even get a hint of the wider picture. And to really heighten the realism, the story incorporates intense environmental details. You aren't just passively watching tiles being laid down, you're feeling the environment. We're talking heavy-duty cranes hoisting massive marble slabs and high-precision laser leveling tools cutting through the room to guarantee a flawless installation. Add in dramatic dust particles floating in the air and realistic, immersive construction audio, and it really grounds you in the grit and the weight of the actual labor. Okay, parts 3, shaping the perspective through cinematic camera moves. Notice how the perspective seamlessly shifts gears on us. We start off with this ground-level intimacy, right? The gritty, close-up viewpoints of the workers actively cutting and measuring. But then, as the pattern slowly starts to grow, the camera transitions into these massive, sweeping overhead drone shots. That contrast is absolutely vital. It rips us out of the microscopic details of the dust and lasers and suddenly slaps us with the sheer massive scale of the artwork that's taking over the entire room. Let's talk about how this builds that epic cinematic atmosphere. The whole sequence utilizes top-tier visual specs to squeeze every drop of satisfaction out of the transformation. We are looking at masterpiece-level quality here. 4K HDR resolution combined with incredibly smooth camera movements. This definitely isn't some shaky smartphone clip. It's a highly engaging viral style built from the ground up to make every single frame look impossibly rich and vibrant. So, we've watched the meticulous, dusty labor, we've taken in the sweeping drone shots, we've noted the vibrant orange and shimmering silver tiles. So, you gotta ask yourself, what is the ultimate payoff for all this cinematic tension? What on earth is being built right in the center of this luxurious modern living room? That brings us to part 4, the climax, the epic mosaic reveal. The dramatic dust finally settles, the time-lapse hits its peak, and those hundreds of precise little tiles we watched being cut earlier completely merge together. They form a breathtaking, ultra-detailed, giant, full-floor mosaic portrait. The transition from a chaotic, raw construction site to a finished space is complete, and the floor itself has become the absolute centerpiece. And boom, here is the pop culture masterpiece finally revealed. It's Goku, captured perfectly in his iconic Super Saiyan form. Those specific tiles, the vibrant orange, the shimmering silver, the deep black, and the polished white, brilliantly locked together to form the legendary anime warrior at his absolute maximum power level, completely dominating the space. Now, the luxury of this modern living room is just amplified by the environment's lighting. The finished artwork isn't just sitting there in the dark. It is glowing radiantly under premium LED lighting. It casts this epic, heroic glow over the finished piece, which perfectly matches the energy of a Super Saiyan, elevating the whole visual impact to another level. And because of that 4K HDR resolution we touched on earlier, you get these hyper-realistic textures. The final shots showcase photorealistic marble reflections. You can literally see every single gleam of the LED light bouncing right off the flawlessly polished marble surface of Goku's portrait. It really just highlights that ultra-detailed craftsmanship we saw in the beginning, bringing AIM incredibly satisfying close to this viral transformation. Think about how brilliantly this entire narrative arc worked. It hooked us immediately with a promise, walked us through the gritty sensory reality of physical labor, accelerated the tension using a cinematic time-lapse, and then delivered a truly spectacular payoff with a Super Saiyan icon. So when you step back and break it all down, how does witnessing this highly structured, accelerating transformation, from raw, dusty stone to a pop culture masterpiece, change your appreciation for just how engineered and brilliant digital storytelling has become? It's definitely something to chew on the next time a quick, viral clip manages to catch your eye.